Telephone etiquette, the essential rules of phone etiquette for businesses. Telephones have become a key piece of life. This is particularly valid in business. All things considered, your telephone framework is your first line of correspondence with your clients, customers, and sellers. In any case, having a decent telephone framework isn't sufficient. You likewise need appropriate telephone manners to establish the most ideal connection with guests. This article investigates great telephone aptitudes that each kind of business ought to have set up for their workers. Continue perusing to see tips for taking the nature of your business calls to the following level. Continuously answer within 3 rings. There are scarcely any things more irritating than making a call and tuning into its ring unendingly. Regardless of whether you're occupied and need to incidentally require the guest to briefly wait, you should answer the call speedily. Character yourself. At that point, approach them to hold for a minute. Being requires to briefly wait may at present be somewhat bothering, however, the vast majority incline toward this to not knowing whether their call will ever be replied. Speak clearly, identify yourself. Continuously be bright and talk plainly while picking up the telephone. This is proficient manners and approaches the guest with deference. Distinguish yourself right away. This tells the guest who they are addressing, along these lines helping them feel locked in. This is particularly significant for organizations that utilization a lawful telephone replying mail. Utilize a speakerphone only when necessary. Except if you're on a phone call with different individuals, attempt to abstain from utilizing a speakerphone. Even though innovation has improved voice quality lately, it's as yet not the most ideal approach to have a discussion. This is particularly irritating when the call is just between 2 people. There's no reason for putting somebody on speaker except if you completely need to have your hands free and you don't have a remote headset accessible. Be polite, avoid profanity. This ought to be self-evident. But you'd be shocked what number of individuals appear to have the powerlessness to just be pleasant to guests. Additionally, never use obscenity, particularly in a business domain. The utilization of irreverence in telephone discussions is impolite and amateurish. Be mindful of your tone. The volume and tone of your telephone voice are significant. Guests need to feel regarded, not overpowered. On the off chance that you don't know about how you sound on the telephone, consider having an associate tune into a call and offer input. Tell the caller when placing them on hold. In conclusion, it's fine to require a guest to briefly wait. All things considered, there are various reasons you may need to do this. Simply maintain a strategic distance from suddenly requiring them to briefly wait for all of a sudden. This keeps them from proceeding to talk while nobody else is on the line. Essentially notice that you are requiring them to be postponed and that you'll be directed back. This the perfect method to forestall disarray or shame. Fundamental tips for proper phone etiquette. Great telephone decorum is fundamental for any business. All things considered, it encourages guests to feel regarded and passes on a feeling of demonstrable skill. The tips contained right now help your office to draw in with clients and customers in an increasingly gracious and proficient way.